points to say, okay, now I'm the man in charge. I make the calls, right? You will not take a pen and be striking out names and adding names, as we've been told by Ket himself. No, Ket said it.
Yeah. I mean, in that interview with...
And will there be
Gary
a
Oswald.
time where the GFA's hands will not be on selections and who's coming and who's... Like, can they leave the coach to be autonomous and choose the players that he wants to
That
play?
is why the next coach who comes in should be somebody who is very, very, what should I say, strong with his decisions.
Firm.
Yes, not to couture, not be a puppet to the GFA. One of the things I heard, and this was from one of our sources within the GFA, was that they had a meeting after they sacked Otto, and they asked Desmond Ofe if he can take the team to the World Cup. And he said yes, he can actually take the team to the World Cup. But you see, the question I asked myself is that, would he be susceptible to the calls that come from the GFA in terms of imposing players on him? Or the thing is, would he stand strong to his decisions? Because Desmond is a brilliant coach, but I don't think he's strong enough to stand the calls that will come from the GFA. And he's Ket's man.
Right.
Just a similar thing to what they did with Otuado. So you need somebody like the man in your picture, in Heavy Renard. He's a very strong man. He's very vocal. The Walid guy who was in the news is somebody who is also just like that. You leave football, the footballing job to him, and handle the administrative issues. If we can separate those two things, I think we can have a good coach who can lead this team to the World Cup. But if you are to allow those calls from the GFA, especially when you've had GFA President Keto Okereke who sits on TV and confidently say that the call-ups that the coaches do actually has to go through him to see who and who is in that call-up before the names are out. Why would you even say that? The GFA President says that.
Can you imagine?
When does his tenure end?
2027. 2027. But I don't think that he wouldn't win. I think he would win again because...
has the third term been approved?
Can run?
No, they approved it. They approved it at the last Congress.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, and myself were there. So it's a 3-year term. They approved it at the last Congress, and that's down to the football people. Somebody who said the Football Republic, the club owners and the administrators. They are the ones who gave him the power to be what he is. You get it? So look, our football is not really in a good state. I realized this, that when Senegal won the AFCON and stuck with Aliou Cissé, one of the things that actually helped them was that they moved a large chunk of the players who were with the under-17 team, together with Aliou Cissé, who spent some bit of time with the under-17 to the national team. So even if you don't have the players who are playing in Europe, some of them not performing, and you have, let's say, 60% of your under-17 together with the coach at the top, it helps. That's what they were like trying to do with Desmond Ofe, because he was with the under-20. And even with our under-20, you can't find the players because a lot of them did not perform. And that's the thing we've done with our national team. When the under-17 don't perform or under-20 don't perform, we just throw them away. And then we assemble another team, take them to the tournament, they fail to qualify, and then we just dump them. And then it's just a repeated cycle. So when the coaches come in, they don't actually have... It's a team that is not in a good state. So you don't have your under-17 and under-20, a large chunk of the players who played there at the national team. When you look at the 2010 squad, we picked players from the team that went to the 2009 and won the World Cup in the DIU, Ajiman Bedu, Jonathan Mensah. A large chunk of those players who had success with the under-20 team were part of the Black Stars. But now we stopped doing all those things, and we are struggling. And then you are blaming the coach. I don't think Otto had his side of the blame to take. Because in terms of the football philosophy, I don't think he did enough. You get the point I'm making? So look, it's a very difficult few months to take for the national team, and especially the GFA. They really have a lot of big job to do to get their appointments right this time. Yeah.
When will we likely hear something?
The next coach?
Yeah.
Well, Ket says 1 to 2 weeks. This was, he said that this week. So I think in the next 2 weeks we should see who takes over, who takes Ghana to the World Cup. And the days are just going. I think we have, 67, 66 days more to the World Cup. So we're keeping tabs on who will come in next to take the team to the World Cup. Yeah.
Amazing. I think very briefly, right, outside of Ket and GFA and all of the mess ongoing right now, what was the latest, right, in terms of the World Cup updates? Are we hearing anything? Is Iran going to play? Italy missed out. A lot of people are shocked. I'm happy because Gattuso, I'm not sure it's correct.
I like the Italy conversation.
I don't know.
I heard they've all resigned. But so why can't our people be saying?
And that's the point Jude made on X, and somebody was attacking him.
That's why he's not talking. No. But honestly, you realize that the minute this one resigned, this one also resigned, this one also resigned.
And let me give you the backstory to it.
Yeah, please do.
So Gravina Gibril, who was the Football Federation president
For Italy,
took charge in 2018. In 2018, they had, so I'm talking about the men's senior national team, they had 4 major tournaments to qualify for. The first one was the 2022 World Cup. They got kicked out by North Macedonia in the playoffs.
Can you imagine?
Listen to the team. North Macedonia. Then that was brushed under the carpet. In 2022, they won. No, in 2020 they won the Euros.
Yeah.
In 2022, they exited in the quarterfinals. In 2024, they exited in the quarterfinals again. And then in 2026, they were supposed to qualify for the World Cup, and they got kicked out by Bosnia and Herzegovina. You see the teams that are kicking them out.
Yeah.
Now, these people, so Gabriel Gravina, Gennaro Gattuso, who is the head coach, and then who is the last one?
I think there was Buffon in the mix.
Gianluigi Buffon, who was also playing a role in
the FA.
Looked at themselves and realized that, look, we failed. 4 tournaments, we failed, back-to-back failures. We don't think we can handle this. We need to step down. That's a proper sense of accountability. Because
and honor and dignity.
Yes, in the space of 4 years, you've bottled 4 proper tournaments.
Even after they won an Euros.
The only thing that helped them was winning the Euros. They did that under Roberto Mancini. And they thought that that would have been the start of great things for them. And then in 2022, they failed again when they brought in Antonio Conte. So you see, they've also had issues with chopping and hiring and firing coaches. Because in his administration, he's dealt with 3 coaches. Mancini, who won the Euros for them. They brought in Antonio Conte, who got kicked out in the quarterfinals. And then they brought in Luciano Spalletti, who also got kicked out in the quarterfinals. And then Gattuso.
The quarterfinals of what?
The Euros.
Okay.
Yes. Then Gattuso, who was supposed to qualify them to the World Cup. And then he failed. If this is not enough to step down as the FA president, what again is there? Who should come and tell you that, looking at the body of work, you need to step down?
Accra, they beat us. And Sudan caught us at home.
Is it Khartoum?
Look, to add to it, under Kes administration or even under Otto's tenure, for the first time in 20 years, we failed to qualify for the AFCON.
Can you imagine?
For the first time in 20 years, Angola came to Baba Sports Stadium and beat us.
Can you imagine?
We had this record going on in Kumasi for a very long time. And I told you this, that day I was in Kumasi.
Yeah, you were
Every time I'm there, reporting there, when the Blaster scores a goal, you literally get goosebumps. Like that place was tagged at the spiritual cathedral for the Black Stars. There is a reason why we are playing a large chunk of our home games there.
At the Baba Sports
because they had this mindset that people in Accra here don't really back the team like that. And the Black Stars were doing so well in Kumasi. If you've seen all of this, let me add one stat. The last time we conceded 5 against an opponent was against Saudi Arabia in 2007.
Yeah.
Under Otto's and Ket's administration, you considered 5 against Austria. Yeah, the opponents, you can argue about that because Austria in the top 25 are there when it comes to the FIFA rankings. Yeah. But this is a national team. A national team does not go into a major tournament, whether it's a friendly, to go and concede 5. You see, that I always say this, the ordinary Ghanaian football fan is very discerning. They can actually pick out the dots.
The nuances.
If we are playing very well, and we lose, let's say like a 2-1, a 2-2. The people will be like, oh, we played very well, We played very well. And then they're looking at the scoreline. But you play Troka, look at the scoreline, 5. What do you expect the Ghanaians to say? They will complain. So for Italy's situation,
my point is that how can
it really makes sense.
How can you lose to Angola, Niger, and Sudan?
Yeah.
You lose to these 3 countries, so
Yeah.
do you know when Niger is on the map? You lose to them.
On the ranking.
Charlie. Then
then-
you keep your job.
See,
Yeah.
Then you lose to Austria and Germany, which are better teams in terms of resources, players, everything, managers, ranking. And that one, rather, you are sacking the coach. It means that you are clueless.
you see, the difference between what Italy is doing and what Ghana is doing is that I was reading this, and this is from the article, The Athletic. They put out something. They said that they realized that the Italian league itself is not doing so well. And if you look at the influx of
Foreign nationals.
foreign nationals into the Italian league, it has actually risen to a certain level they did not expect. Because when you look at Italy's success in the World Cup, they're also 4-time world champions.
Yeah.
The last time they were at the World Cup, when they exited in the group stage, was 2010 and 2014. They had back-to-back group stage exits. Ever since, they've not qualified. So they've missed out on 2018, 2022,
And this one.
and 2026. In those seasons that they were performing, they had top talent in the Italian league. Go and look at the starting 11 of the Italian team that played against France in the 2006 final. Zambrotta, Bonucci, Bazzagli, Buffon. This same Buffon who resigned.
Francesco Totti, Luca
The
Toni.
current coach in
Andre Pello.
Gennaro Gattuso, Andre Pello, they were all playing in the
In fact,
Italian league.
They had a player called Aquilani.
Oh, Charlie.
Oh, Charlie. And
They were not playing.
Gilardino.
Good. They were
Oh,
not playing
bro.
in Spain, England. They were playing in the Italian league.
Italian league.
And when you are going to meet Juventus, when you are going to meet Inter Milan,
You are
going
afraid.
you are afraid.
Because these are players.
Now-
they had Andre Nesta.
Arsenal and
And
Chelsea
Fabio
are brushing
Cannavaro.
aside those teams because they've realized that, look, the Italian league is no longer powerful, and then it's not feeding talent into the national team. So we want to sit and look at what is wrong. That is a proper federation thinking on its feet. But here, we are blaming, if you go and say it on radio, they'll say that you hate. Nobody hates Otuado.
I'm
Bro,
shocked. Like,
nobody
what,
hates
what,
Kepa
what do
Kufu.
you do for me? You don't do anything
It
for
is
me.
clear that, Charlie, look, if you ask me now, the only success I can say that I'm giving to Kets is when we went to win the U20 AFCON under Karim Zito, running and tracking free. When we went there, and we won the AFCON. Because of COVID, we did not go to the World Cup. And then maybe you can talk about the Black Queens. Which country celebrates third place bronze?
Even the Black
Because we
Queens.
subjected ourselves to mediocrity, and so when we went there and winning bronze, I'm not saying what they did was bad, and I'm not denigrating what they did, but because we are used to failures,
Yeah.
so the Black Queens clinching bronze medal was success.
Yeah.
Like that.
You can take it away, but look, this is the national team. Let's stop misbehaving and fix this thing, and stop blaming people for. When we say it, you think we dislike you. Nobody hates anybody. Imagine scenes at the is what now is what Accra International Airport, right?
Yeah.
I am standing there reporting that the Black Stars have arrived with the World Cup. Do you know what that's for the nation?
Amazing stuff. It is well.
Amen. So that's with Italy, right?
Yeah.
But I hear in other places it's not all smooth like that. England are also up in arms.
Yeah, they're also taking their own.
They lost to Japan.
Japan, yeah.
1-0.
Japan, what's their ranking?
Oh, Japan are in the top 20.
Wow.
Yeah, Japan are in the top 20.
And Ghana is still 70 what?
4.
But
74th.
for context there, when Ket took over,
51st.
we were 51.
Yes.
And now we are 74.
74th, yeah.
So
Is that
the-
not enough reason to resign?
see, by every metric,
We're just
It goes against him.
falling.
every metric.
And you see, I've
We're
heard
going
people say that
down,
rankings
down,
don't play
down,
football,
down.
but the rankings actually do
They
tell.
do tell something.
On what?
I listen to Niger.
Yeah.
What?
And you say, do you know what? Do you know what's annoying? When we lost to Niger,
Yeah.
he was caught on camera telling some of the players that his own players in Dreams FC can beat Niger.
Ket is not.
And you are talking to professionals. These are players who are playing in England, Spain, Turkey, and you are telling them that. Do you know what does to their psyche and their body of work? You are looking at them and saying that they are not good
They're
enough.
not good enough.
And all of his
Meanwhile, you're
speeches
not
have
giving
been
them somebody.
all over the place, right? If
Me-
you are losing to Niger, you should take much of the responsibility.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. Has he ever
Who cares?
taken responsibility?
You should listen to that interview he did with 3 Sports.
Like Kurotieje.
He was as if they poured ice water on him. Like you can actually tell that. Look,
But people feel like the decision to sack him was beyond the GFA. What do you know about that?
oh yeah, it was. Look, if the GFA had their own ways, they were going to
They were
stick
going
with
to
Otto.
stick with
You know
Otto.
why? the GFA have done a lot for Otto to stay. And the last thing they did for him was beefing up the technical team. They did everything in their own powers to have Otto stay for the World Cup. If you had left it alone to the GFA to take decisions, if the GFA were the ones paying Otto, they would have taken him to the World Cup. They were not going to sack him. The call actually came from, it was government to let Otto go. And you see, let me say this. In 2014, when we went to the World Cup, which president did we have? It was President Mahama. I think everybody knew how that World Cup played out. I am sure that the president will be looking at this World Cup again and would want to cancel out anything that would begin to have what happened in 2014 repeat itself.
Yeah.
When I say that, one has to do with performance. Because they would want to look at this national team and say that minimum, round of 16. Because like I said, if you progress out to the group stage and you go to the round of 32, you're literally still in the group stage because you have one more game to play. And you have to play that game and get to the round of 16. In 2006, nobody thought that we would get to the round of 16. We did. 2010, we got to the quarterfinals. In fact, we were rubbing shoulders with Senegal and Cameroon. Cameroon did it in 1990, Senegal did it in 2002, and then us. And then Morocco are now the only African country to have reached the last 4 of the World Cup because they had done their things right and they got there. So this government will look at this national team and say that, look, we can't be pumping all of this money into the national team and then you go there and go and disgrace yourself. There is a reason why the sports minister, when he came here that day, he left to Germany. It was to go and sack him, to go and sack Utuado. So as for Keto Kreku, if you left him alone, Otto would have still been our coach to the World Cup. So look, that decision, I think, was long overdue. But we're just hoping to see who comes in next and then they can perform. Judy, I think you were talking about England.
Yes, sir.
They're also facing, I think Thomas Tuchel is also facing some pressure from the media because certain players they think should be in the national team. The coach is not looking at them. And you see, Tuchel is one manager who has a way of doing his own things when it comes to player selection and all of that. But losing to Japan, I don't know why the English press should be crying because Japan, as a national team in the last 6 years, have been doing very well. That's why they are in the top. I think they are ranked 18th or so in the top 20. And for England themselves, they've been struggling. So to lose to Japan, you can understand because it's part of preparation games for the World Cup. And they know that they have to go to the World Cup and go and perform because they've been struggling. I think the last time they were was 1966. They have to go there and go and perform. So you can understand why the English press would be on Thomas Tuchel. I'll not be surprised if they also let go of their coach. But as to who they will bring in, that's a problem. That's what we can actually tell. So I think the English fans should have patience for Thomas Tuchel. I think I'm yet to actually see what he would do with this national team. But in terms of identity, he has that. Because if you follow Tuchel for a very long time, he's somebody who is very pragmatic. That's things in... His teams are very compact, very difficult to break down. The only thing sometimes I have a problem is that you don't get his team scoring lots of goals. The teams they were facing, San Marino and Serbia and those things, you can actually be putting 5 past them. But if you come up against an A-listed team, you struggle. So I still think that England is one of the teams to go far in the tournament. I just think that they should come down on the coach and see what happens.
Gabby, it's always a privilege having you. We really, really enjoy having you in the studio. Thank you so much for your time this morning. Hopefully, the next time you come, we can talk about more progressive, matters around our football.
Yeah,
and we have a coach, and hopefully there's some proper reforms at the FA. Anyway, we'll take a quick break. When we're back, there's a lot more right here on Breakfast Daily. It's an extended version because we love you so much, and also because it's Easter. We'll be back after the break. Don't go away.
This is 1998. I can't believe I'm turning 50. When I look back, all that I can remember is all I've been given. Life, friendships, family, and dedicated fans. And I still have a seat in a beautiful industry, enjoying the opportunity I've been given to serve Ghana. I'm made in Ghana. But check this out. Channel One TV says they want to celebrate me. Let's say I'm a good example. Is it true? For my 50th birthday, I'm going to build a pediatric emergency center at Menchia Hospital. That is why all these young and vibrant celebrities are coming out to Plus 233 on the 18th of April to come so that we throw this amazing white party together to raise money for that hospital. Kwame Eugene, Kidi, Kim Paluta, Amrado, Miss V, Sister Fia, a free year, Kwabna, Darlington, Abiana, Akwabwa, Abochi, Brothers, Raskuku, Adina, and another friend of mine, Andy Dusty on the 1 and 2s. He is not young. 9 p.m. till you are tired of listening to great music. I know that Channel One wishes that they could bring all of this excitement for free, but because we are trying to build a pediatric emergency center at Menchia, please be happy to pay 1,500 for VVIP and 1,000 cedis for VIP. See you there.
In a world filled with challenges, we all need guidance, hope, and a lifeline to anchor us.
This is Lifeline, and I'm your host, Fred Crunchy Mensa.
From social issues, relationship challenges, and family matters, Lifeline is here to inspire, uplift, and guide you on your journey.
Where we give you support, where we hold your hand through the valley and through the thick and thins of life.
Join Bishop Fred Crunchy Mensa.
I welcome you especially to Lifeline.
Every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on Channel One TV. Let's walk this path together, strengthen our faith, our families, and our lives. Lifeline, because every soul deserves a guiding light. Tune in to Lifeline on Channel One TV and let's grow together.
Welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily right here on Channel One TV. I'm Jude Duncan. Joining me now, it's Apioko for a very important conversation, happening right here at Channel One TV. Apioko.
Hi, Jude.
You don't usually come on our show, but when you
why are you saying it like you're pained?
Oh, no, I am pained because you should be coming more often.
What do you want me to come and do?
Oh, guys, you can. One of these days, you actually come and let's do the show together. Just consider we'll do the whole show together.
This table that you are shaking.
No, I know.
This table.
you don't usually come, but when you come, you come bearing good news.
Absolutely, lots of good news, lots of gifts. For the Easter season.
Yeah. What's up?
So, at Channel One TV and City FM, we're always doing something. I'm here specifically to talk about the Easter of Fun project, which we've been running for over 20 years.
20 years?
Yes, over 20 years. But let me just say that I hope that people were able to catch Channel One TV's original drama production, which we premiered at 7:30 p.m. this past Thursday,
Amazing.
the 2nd of April. We are doing reruns, repeats of the episode that we aired.
When you say Channel One TV production, does it mean all of the cast we saw work here?
No. What it means is that the conceptualization of it from Channel One TV, specifically from Samuel Tamensa, who's the executive producer. Channel One TV as an entity has always had the dream of going into local content production. And for many reasons, I won't talk too much about it, but primary amongst them being that if we say we're telling your story and we're empowering change, which is our tagline, then it means that should cut across. So yes, there are the news reports, the way we do our news with a, you know, very
going into
peripheral,
the communities. Yeah,
yes, you know, quality, really bring the stories to you, but also the stories of everyday Ghanaians. And you see, when we talk about culture, a lot of the time you think, oh, culture is drumming and dancing. That's one aspect of it.
It goes beyond that.
Culture is comprised of our traditions, but also the way we evolve as a dynamic people. And so his dream had always been to, and our dream as a station, to go into content production. So this production scripted, the characters designed by us, you know, and then the cast, we hired them to come and do the job. People don't think of acting as a job, but it is.
And
some
imagine.
people's
But I saw
full-time
Tajuddin in
jobs.
there.
He did, and it's his first time playing
I saw
a role.
Dede as well.
Dede appears in one of the episodes, which will be airing later. And they auditioned.
Wow.
When we opened the call for auditions, they came through and auditioned, and that's how they got those parts.
How about a production crew? So we know for the cast, but the camera, the lights, the sound.
Everyone from here.
You don't believe. You don't.
Everyone
you don't
from
mean
here.
it.
Apart from the production manager, which is a very specific role. Everyone from, so we're talking 98% of the
Local
technical crew.
Channel One content.
Yes, and we've been building that capacity for
Incredible,
some time.
incredible.
So I do hope people caught it. You know, look out for the playbacks throughout the week, and then catch the next episode, which will be airing next Thursday, which would be the 9th of April at 7:30 p.m. here on Channel 1.
Amazing, amazing. So we are still in the Easter period. Some of us believe that it's a period of sacrifice, of giving, and of love, right? Why, of all the problems in Ghana, you know, from, you know, so many of it, why go into orphanages?
Well, orphans, and when we talk about orphans, we're not talking about grown people who have lost their parents. We're talking about children. And children are very vulnerable. Even when you have your parents, you have certified guardians with you, you are vulnerable as a child. There's a reason why legally children can't take certain decisions for themselves, sign certain documents on their own. It's because of that vulnerability, that inability to you know, think through certain things with the mind that an adult would. And so if you have children who've been brought into the world, they've lost their parents, it could be to death, it could be to very serious sickness, and sometimes they're abandoned. It's something that we felt that we needed to step in and do. And we believe in sustainability, so it was never just about hopping from one orphanage to another. We adopted, if you like, the Baptist School Complex, Basco, which is in Suhum. It's actually in a place called Troto, which is what you call a hamlet, small community within the Suhum area. And over the years, we've done so many things with them. It's not just about donations. We've put up buildings, a girls' dormitory, because at one point that we were getting a lot of girls coming through the facility, furnished that dormitory, a TVET center, where now many of them are learning how to sew and do other things. So over the years, we've worked with Basco, but we're even expanding our efforts a little more this year. Over time, during the Easter Orphan Project and then Help a Christmas Child, which is another CSR project that we work on, we've been going to different places. Some of the places that we've gone through over the years have been rehabilitation centers. And we want to really get into that this time. So on the 6th of April, instead of going to just Basco, we have 4 teams from Channel 1 TV and City FM who will be going to different places. Basco, as usual, will go spend time with the children, do our donations there, assess their needs, and then throughout the year we're going back depending on what we find during Easter. But also the rehabilitation centers, particularly Chosen Rehab, which is you know, around the Abufu area, and then Iris, which is in Hacho. Why rehabilitation? We said that children are vulnerable, and we're realizing that there are lots of people who are dealing with a plethora of addictions, alcohol, hard drugs, drugs which are supposed to be over the counter but now have become their drug, their go-to for checking out from the world. People have addictions to pornography, all sorts of addictions which are affecting the quality of life of the adults. But guess what? These people have children.
Wow.
And so you have their children also being affected by this. And it's more rampant than we think. Now, these rehabilitation centers are private facilities, and they are trying to support what the public, so your Accra Psychiatric Center, Pantang, and all of these mental health facilities are doing. But rehabilitation is more than mental health. It's getting your self-esteem up, in some cases, assessing you to see where you can fit in the job market, because some of these people fell into this because they didn't have money and they didn't know how they were going to take care of their families. And so they're trying to cope with the difficulties of life, all sorts of things. So we are looking at it through a different lens, that let's not even wait for the children to become orphans. Let's help the parents who find themselves in these spaces, the guardians, and make sure that they are fit to take care of our children. And also so that our children, their children, can also see that it's possible to bounce back from a situation like that.
We've done this before. This isn't the first time we are doing this. You mentioned that for the Easter Fund project in itself, it's been running for 20 years. What's been the feedback? Each year you go there, when you interact with the people, when we give to them, what do they say to us in return?
Look, we've had, I'll give you an example of Basco. There's a young lady who was in that facility. You know, there's also a school there, so they go to school, they're trained, raised in the Christian way, all sorts of capacity building so that they can become responsible citizens. And she is now a professional dressmaker, and she's gone back to go and teach in the TVET facility. The administrator of the school, he spends his whole life there and now has also gone back. So that tells you that if these people in their adult life have gone back, then it means that it did something for them. If it was such a terrible experience, they wouldn't have gone back. Over the years, we've also done mentorship for these people. So our own family here at Channel One TV, City FM, sometimes we take people who we find as mentors, role models, also take them, then they go and speak to them. Because you see, it's very easy to lose your way when you're in an environment where there's nobody who is your primary cheerleader. Your parents, whether you're, I mean, unless you don't have very great parents, but your parents, no matter how you come, you say, monkey no fine, but mommy like him. Your parents will always be your cheerleaders. The people who are your immediate family and caregivers will always push you. But if you find yourself in a situation where this is what it is, I don't have these people in the same way, then we need to make an effort to create that. So the feedback has been great. Our donors over the years have also been very impressed with what we've done, especially with the physical facilities that we've been able to put up. But Jude, I also want to talk, speaking about the rehab centers, I want to talk about the prisons. So we've also done a few of the prisons before. We've gone to Akuse. I went to the women's prison at one point. Again, same philosophy. The people who are in the prisons, many of them are parents. And their children have to see them in that condition.
Wow.
When they come out of prison, because many of these people, the inmates in prisons, many of them are not there on a life sentence, right? They're not sentenced to death, excuse me to say. So they will come out and they will have to fit back into society. They deal with stigma, they still deal with self-esteem issues. Some of them are constantly questioning why they ended up where they did and why society should accept them back. They have to come back, find jobs, fend for themselves. And if they have children and families, they bear the brunt of that directly. And so again, we want to go to the prisons. We're going to a place called Osamkum. It's in the central region, not far from Winneba, Swedru, that area. And there's a prison there. We will go and spend time with them, commune with them, talk to them, see what their challenges are, because they're also Ghanaian citizens. They're also human beings. And like I said, they have families who are relying on them. So we will go there and, you know, also, again, assess the situation. We, over the years, as a media house, we've done several stories about the states of our prisons. The Ghana Prison Service is doing what they can. We've seen them come through to some of our fairs. The officers are farming, doing all sorts of interesting things. We see them involve inmates in community service and all that. But beyond the walls, there are challenges, and it's not their fault. So we want to go and bless
Amazing.
them.
Time is far gone, but very briefly, so what are we expecting, right? For those who are watching and they want to give back, not expecting, but what are we open to receiving?
So cash donations, I'm going to be very honest, are very important. Because, I mean, straight up, some of the things that we do, we can't transform Gary into cities and do it. Even though those are also welcome. And I'll talk about the kinds of things we want. But please, if you have your phone, take it out, 0550 900-006. 0550-900-006. Send us a cash donation via mobile money. You can also write a check in the name of the City FM Foundation.
Okay.
The City FM Foundation. We will receive that. You can bring it to front desk of Channel 1 TV at Tesano. We are at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane. Very easy to find on a Google map. If you want to bring physical items, we want items that won't spoil.
Okay.
Things that can be stored for some time. So canned foods, non-perishables. Canned food, evaporated milk, gari. We want some rice. We want detergents and bar soap for washing as well. You know, those kinds of things. Things that every day, day in, day out, need to take care of yourself. Sanitary pads for the women and the girls, also very important.
Appior, it was a pleasure having you.
Pleasure
and
to
happy
be here.
belated birthday to you.
Hey, Jude. Well, thank you. Thank you.
You spoiled it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had a very good breakfast on your birthday.
Oh, wow.
All right, so that's all time will allow us for. We are so excited you could stay with us. It's still the Easter period. A reminder that it's a period of love, of sacrifice, and of giving back to society. And you can do so via the Easter Orphan Project. We'll catch you same time next week. Bye-bye, and be good.